Afternoon everyone and welcome back to the second week of the Queensland High School League of Legends Championship. My name is Mitch Ripley's Anderson and I'm joined once again by my wonderful co-caster, Max von Newman. How are things going this afternoon, Max?
You know what, things are actually going pretty all right, and they are only about to get better as we are heading towards our second match.
Yeah, great to hear. Of course, last week we had an exciting game between Unity College and St. Peter's Cathedral College, And I think I speak for both of us when I say we hope for something a little bit more competitive today.
Yeah, yesterday's, or last week's game, I should say, was a 22-minute victory by SPCC. It was a fun game. It was very entertaining to watch. It was highlighted by great lane play. However, this week, I expect to see a bit more back-and-forth action.
Yeah, of course. And, you know, the comps last week saw some maybe more peculiar picks coming out of Unity's team last week. We saw team up in the top lane, Yi in the jungle, along with Poppy in the support role for Unity. So, you know, as we mentioned last week, this is an open ELO tournament. So, you know, you get players that have only played for a week, players that are Diamond plus ELO. So, I mean, it's good to see all these players getting involved, but
you know what, I'm still going to defend Poppy's support. I feel Poppy is viable in the sport, but we can discuss that later. What's more important right now is it's just how great it is to see all these schools from around Queensland coming in and joining this tournament. Last week there was just over a handful. This week we have over 15, and it's only growing and growing, which is why the Swiss format is what is being implemented. Now, Swiss brackets mean each week winners will play winners, losers will play losers, to help ensure that we get the most competitive match each and every week moving forward.
Yeah, and you know that matchup for this week is actually between Somerset College and the Chisholm CHIEFS.
Yeah, I mean, Somerset's going to be pretty personal for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I did actually graduate from Somerset College a couple of years ago, back in 2017. So I'm really excited to see, you know, my school getting involved, and I'm happy that they've actually provided the opportunity. Obviously, it would have been nice if they did it while I was still at school, but you know, regardless, seeing them reach out to me and getting involved, it is very nice to see Somerset competing in this tournament.
That is true. And for the Chisholm CHIEFS, I mean, they're a school that is very much in development of their own esports program that's growing and is actually quite impressive. I was able to check out their VOD review last week, and you know, they have shoutcasters, they have a coach, they have a full team logo, and it's really exciting to see that all get put together. And once again, where was this when we were in high school, man? I want that.
You mean back in the dark ages when you attended high school?
Yeah, I'm old. But going on further from that too, as we mentioned before, Swiss format, which means each of these teams were victorious last week. They're not the new teams. These are two teams that played before, and they each came up with pretty convincing victories. So it's going to be a bit of battle of the giants, I would say. Like, this is a chance to really assert yourself and take that top place in the ladder.
Yeah, you know, both teams employed their different strategies. Somerset did a Yasuo enabling comp. They had Malphite up in the top lane. They had, you know, Hecarim in the jungle. They played around the Yasuo. They had brand support as well to add a bit of varied damage. While the Chisholm CHIEFS applied a more jungle-centric strategy. They played what you call the traditional ball delivery comp. So you have Orianna in the mid lane, and then you have, you know, two forms of super hard engage in the Camille and the Zac to deliver that ball to make sure you're getting a really nice command shockwave off every time.
Not to mention, you know, the always wonderful lane strength of that Lucian.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the Lucian in the bot lane with the Bard.
And with the Bard.
Great pairing as well. So, you know, both these teams, very strong comps and good strategies coming into this game. We'll see how they've evolved for this week. So as soon as we can, let's introduce our first team.
Yeah, first we will be introducing our blue side. So that will be the Chisholm CHIEFS. So we just wait for their names to come up on the teleprompter there so you can take a look for yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, and it is very interesting to see, you know, what sort of strategy these teams will employ going through the game. I would like to see them kind of listen to the patch, and you know, the patch just dropped a couple of weeks ago. So when they come out with their new strategy, it's going to be very interesting to see what exactly they're going to do.
I mean, yeah, this new patch has brought forward actually a lot of changes. In particular, there's two champions that I've noticed who have really starting to emerge. One of which is Kale. Yes, she's not a new champion, but she's a new champion now.
Yeah, obviously Kale just got the rework, massive rework, so she's very different now. I mean, Kale in particular, like Morgana hasn't really changed much, so got a little bit extra to her ult, but it doesn't really change why you actually pick the champion. Kale, however, is super interesting. She seems to have she's very similar champion to Cassidy. Like, doesn't really become a champion until you hit those later levels 11 or so. And you know, instead of fighting from a flank or what Cassidy kind of wants to do, she wants to just fight front to back. But she does need to come and wait for those items wait for the items to come in to hit level 16, 17. Especially when she's level 16 with those true damage waves, it's going to be very, very difficult for the enemy team to sort of do anything against her. Of course, you know, the exalted damage is just, it's absolutely ridiculous. I saw a couple of odd reviews of Caps playing it in Europe, so, you know, he was just absolutely dominating teams with that. But as long as Kale can get through that first early laning phase, I think it's kind of viable. I don't think Kale really fits into the meta at the moment. In the mid lane, she just doesn't really have those same tools like Cassidy, like the magic resistance to kind of deal with matchups. And if she's playing up in the top side, you know, the current meta is kind of that Jace Renekton lane bully kind of style. So it's very hard for her to actually perform up in that role without getting punished too heavily before she's able to get the later levels.
I do believe, though, that just because she's not maybe competitively viable at the top level now, she's still very much a very viable pick at, matches and events such as this, just because unless you really have a game plan to shut down that Kayle, she can get it enabled. And differentiating from Keston a bit, she doesn't need to be in the mid lane. She can go mid, she can go top. I've even seen jungle Kayles work in my solo queue games. Think of that what you will. I thought it was actually horrifying. But it doesn't matter how she gets to that level 16.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you really put her down. She can still become enabled once she gets to that stage. So unless you have a real strategy to target it and pin it down, like maybe it would be that Jace harass and pinning it down. Maybe it would be a mid lane assassin like LeBlanc, just constantly smack, smack, smack. But if she gets there, you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about enabling that late game potential. I mean, some other cool things we saw this patch. There was really big buffs to Skarner, who was one of those champions in the jungle we might see come up. Vi as well is, got a kind of mini rework, so her is a little bit more playable. I still wouldn't say Vi's like a pick you'll see in high elo kind of play, but in a play like this, she's very easy to play, simple, very hard, very easy to execute. So, he's one of those champions that you do see in those kind of gold, silver elos a lot more. So some of these players could bring out. I mean, these two teams play a lot around their jungle. Both of their jungles are, two of their best players. Yep. Obviously, the jungle for Somerset's their shot caller, and the jungle for what's the other thing?
Chiefs?
For the Chiefs, sorry.
The Chiefs?
The jungle for the Chiefs is, he's platinum player. He's very, very high skilled, and he's one of the core win conditions.
And now, speaking of the Chiefs, we're actually going into our rosters as we take a look right here for the Chisholm Chiefs. In the top lane, it is Macintosh Plush. The jungler will be microlag. He is, again, he was kind of that MVP that first game. We'll see if he can repeat that performance today. In the mid lane, it is Malfunction 23, AD carry, dorlingis, and in support, the small boy.
And their opponents today on the red side, Somerset College. In the top lane, I see that THP. In the jungle, DawnBreaker. In the mid lane, Panda. In the bot lane, alphajer. And in the support, Bennerokss. Bennerokss, is that how you say it? Anyways. Yeah, so
Bennerokss.
Both these teams obviously coming off wins last week. They played both around those junglers really, really well. It is very nice to see Somerset. As I said, my school, see them competing, and I've had a little bit to do with the team. I hope to be involved a little bit later, but plate is a little bit full, so I'm very excited to see how they play today, and what kind of team's kind of been put together.
And I'm excited really to see the Chiefs get back at it because I was fortunate enough to watch them play before. I want to see how they will adapt. Maybe they'll try something new. Maybe we'll see a similar jungle-centric play out of them today. It's always really interesting with these long-scale tournaments to see how teams adapt and learn and mutate almost as a meta may evolve, as players may evolve as players. So I'm really curious to see how similar or how different the Chiefs are going to play this game and if they can carry that same momentum as we are going into our picks and bans, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. So what are we going to see banned first? What do you want to see banned?
I mean, hopefully that Somerset's going to band out those more heavy engage tools. Obviously, Jax is a very strong ban. Counters one of those champions, the Yorick, that is like one of the top kind of contenders and top picks at the moment in the meta. I think the Chiefs should focus on banning out obviously strong junglers that DawnBreaker will play in the solo queue. So he's very, very strong when he plays the enabling kind of champions. And Somerset, I do hope they ban out, this very simple heavy engage strategy that Unity or Chiefs used last week.
Yeah, I also like the Jax ban because it is one of those flex picks that can be run top or jungle. Interesting choice by Somerset there. They're actually electing not to ban. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but it has gone through. So only 5 champions banned this time around.
Yeah, potentially first round, maybe even less for Somerset. I don't know if it's a technical issue, but whatever it is.
That said,
interesting Draven being banned out against alphajer.
Yeah, well, Draven is one of those AD carries that can snowball very, very hard, has a lot of damage very early, and if it can get enabled, can take over a game very quickly. Like, if you don't want to lose in 20, 25 minutes, getting rid of Draven, I feel, is a smart idea.
Yeah, Draven's one of those champions who's super lane dominant once he gets ahead. A lot of AD coming out of that champion. The spinning axe is very, very strong, and if you can't shut that champion down early, it's going to be very difficult to do anything like that.
And once again, it looks like Somerset is not getting a ban through, so we are going to get a remade lobby. It does appear there was a bit of a mistake there, so welcome back. Back to us.
Yeah, so I mean, as I will going to quickly go back to the patch that just dropped before we get into the game, it's actually a really big patch in terms of meta shifts, and I can't wait until we see some actual pro play on this patch. So one of the biggest changes was the Aftershock nerfs and the Targon changes. So at the moment, the premier support, your number 1 support go-to is the Galio, and then it's like Alistair, Thresh, these kind of more engaged picks. While on the other side of the coin, they've also started buffing these AD carries. The items came in earlier. Cho'Gath and Mundo got buffs as well, which means Riot's maybe trying to make a more scaling meta, and especially with those tank nerfs and the aftershock nerfs, it means the Galio, the Alistar, the Thresh, the Leona, all these champions who like to go in super hard in the bottom lane, mean that they're more threatened when they don't have as long. Sorry, because they reduce the aftershock time, they don't have long to get out while having that high resistances. So a lot more windows punishable, and I think it promotes the picking of enchanters. So like the Nama, the Nami, Janna, and the Lulu. And I mean that is obviously because the next champion Riot renounced, they're going to release in the next couple of weeks. I think we're expecting it to come out not next patch, but the patch after that. Is going to be a more enchanty style traditional support champion, so it could be potentially setting up for that, since we know Riot loves to release champions that are busted.
Well, I'm someone who likes Mundo a lot, so I'm excited to see all the aftershocks go down and the Mundo rise up, because he never really used aftershock anyways. But one of the more surprising champions I feel to emerge with this most recent patch, and even a little bit before, is the on-hit Neeko.
Yes.
Would you like to go into that into a bit more detail?
I mean, I've been playing a fair bit of on-hit Neeko. I mean, I played a lot of traditional Neeko when she was released. I'm like a Zoe Aurelion Sol player, so Neeko kind of fits straight into my champion build hole.
Fan club.
ASOL
fan club. I just got to drop it. I'm sorry you mentioned ASOL. Should be worth the note for everyone out there. Each of us main ASOL, Aurelion Sol, best champion. Just
we're 2 out of the 4 players in the region that actually play their champion. But yeah, so Neeko fits very similarly to my champion. But obviously this new on-hit build, I mean, I really enjoy it. I love playing Neeko the champion, so I don't mind it. It's just it's a very different playstyle to kind of have on a champion. But it is very strong. I've seen like Uzi, Reckless, Perks, Double Lift, all these players are kind of picking up in the solo queue, playing her in that bot lane role and letting her scale. Once she gets that Rage Blade, her empowered W is up every second auto, which gives her movement speed as well. And she's able to self-kite really easily, and that's why she's such a strong pick. Her E buffs as well, really huge, going through only 1 enemy instead of 2 to create that extra root duration. And obviously she has her ult for self-peeling, so she's very similar to something like a cannon that Reckless would have when Reckless first brought that pick out. That's kind of the similar area that Neeko kind of goes into.
I feel like what's interesting about the Neeko too as well is like she doesn't just have to be bot lane to run this on hit build. You can also put her top lane. I've seen mid attempts at it as well. It's one of those very scary flex picks, and when you can start flexing 3 lanes, that's a whole nother, that's better than Jax.
Back to the Cassio Jace kind of thing we had a couple of patches ago. Yeah. I mean, Neeko is she is still very strong played traditionally, like full AP with the Q max build. But what you'll see players traditionally do is they'll go for a W max into E max. So you don't really worry about putting points in the queue at all. It just slows down your kind of progress and how you go through that. So doing the W max into E max means you're just getting so much more damage out of that W faster. And as a result, the champion is quite strong. But you can still play our AP in the mid lane with the Q max. We saw Nemesis actually on the side of Fnatic played that against, or I think XL they played against when he brought out that Neeko mid lane. So she's obviously variable both ways. On hit is a Rise is a superior build, but the champion in general is just very strong and could go either way.
Okay, now I have to ask another bit of a follow-up though, because we're talking about how flexible and how viable she is. This is a little bit of a shout out. I have gotten some questions over the past week or so from players who are competing as well as other people who have actually just enjoyed watching. One of which is a support main and has asked me, Neeko support, is that even viable? Can she be the first really quintessent champion? Can she be flexed in all 5 roles?
I mean, Neeko support is actually not terrible. It's doable, especially with the E buffs. It means your root duration is really nice. And if you play it with something like a Jhin 80 carry, or an 80 carry that can give potential like that, it is very decent. The only problem is Neeko is very gold reliant to get out damage, and to use her ultimate effectively as an engage tool, you have to build items. Obviously, you can still use it as a peel tool, and then it does work as a support tool. So you can put her in all 5 roles. I'm sure Griffin will definitely use that champion in all 5 roles if they could. Knowing Lehens and Tarzan.
Griffin could play anyone in any role, I feel like.
I'm sure there's at least in support coming eventually one day for that team.
I can only dream. I can only dream so much. You can only get me so excited.
Exactly. So, I mean, yeah, the Neeko can go in any of those 5 roles and is very, very good. The other big thing on the patch was actually the Akali kind of rework, revert, nerf thing, and also GP as well got a bit of a nice buff to himself. So GP and Akali are both champions who can definitely be played. I don't expect them to be played because they have very high skill cap champions, and to actually get the most out of those champions, you need to be a player who's more mechanically skilled. But at the same time, I think maybe Akali could be picked up because we're doing this as high school. Yeah. Your classic 15, 14-year-old plays Lee Sin, Yasuo, Master Yi, Akali, Katarina, all these high impact assassins. So yeah, I mean, we potentially see Akali picked today. I don't expect it, but you know, it is something that could come out, and that champion is once again kind of finding balance in League Leaders.
I definitely would not be surprised at all to see Akali come out in this game today, just because as well, her nerf period was very short. So I'm sure there was a lot of players who had been maining her a significant amount, and now that she's back again, I'm sure they're excited. Like, yes, my Akali's back. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show everyone how it's done. So
yeah, I think it's very similar to the kind of release. I mean, it seems very similar to how Zoe went. So when Zoe first came out, obviously she was very, very strong for the first 3 patches. And then we got to patch 8.4, but they kind of did a bit of a rework, shifted her more into that battle mage style with the W max build, or W second max build. And so I think they've shifted Akali's kind of to more of that, like, so she's had that playstyle of being I'm going to sit in my shroud and hit you invisible, and then I'm really weak for a while, but I have this Q scaling thing. I mean, I do think the biggest thing for Akali is she just doesn't have that sustain in lane on that Q. So if she's not sustaining off full energy, it makes it a lot harder for her to get through the lane phase. And I think as a melee champion in the mid lane, champions like Zed, champions like Yasuo, they all have inbuilt sustain mechanisms, or you know, they have different resources. I mean, Zed's a bit different. Zed last hit's a bit better, and they have wave control. So I think Akali definitely has room to improve in terms of how she's played, but I think, you know, there's definitely a spot for her to come in certain counter pick matchups, so into the more traditional stuff.
And once again, we are heading back into picks and bans. So attempt number 2. Look, we're 2 for 2 in having the lobby remade. Hopefully that will be the last one throughout the tournament, but it's not the worst thing in the world, as once again, Jax will be taken off the board for Sunhome.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what exactly Somerset banned out here instead of the, as a response to the Jax they would have normally banned. Obviously, these people are all playing from their schools, so it's difficult for them to actually have tech issues. But yeah, Rek'Sai on the ban list. Rek'Sai is one of the strongest champions this patch. I mean, got touched a little bit with Conqueror, but yeah, no, she's very, very strong. Could actually use that Conqueror now to duel at level 2, which is why she kind of came back into meta so quickly, because she's so good with that rune. Because she has 4 abilities level 2. And
there's the Lee Sin actually being taken away. I'm a little bit surprised by seeing Lee Sin taken off the board, to be honest.
I mean, microlag has like, I think it's a 64% win rate on Rek'Sai and like a 62% win rate on Lee Sin, like 2 of the most played champions. So I can see that, and Lee Sin as well is really popular champion in the meta right now. And it is very heavily about jungle picks at the moment.
It is very heavy. Yasuo taken off the board. Doesn't appear like the Chiefs want to deal with the potential Yasuo comp. Maybe they don't really know how to handle it efficiently, or maybe it's just something that they don't play and they don't want to go up against. So
yeah, I mean, Panda did obviously play Yasuo. They played a Yasuo Malphite kind of comp last week, so they could obviously be blocking that strategy, and I hope Somerset do the same thing and you know, don't allow this Zac or something to come into microlag.
Pyke was the last ban taken away. However, for the first pick, the Chiefs are going to pick to their top laner's role. It will be a Gnar.
Yeah, Gnar actually got a nice little buff this patch. He got a, I think it was a attack speed growth level 1 and early armor buff as well to his mega form, sorry, not the mini form. So he's a champion that we could see a lot more priority on this game or in the future patches, and one of the champions you can actually quite utilize. Gnar is very difficult to play around though. You have to be playing around those Fury stacks really effectively. So I'll see how well Macintosh can actually do this.
It did leave up the Lucian, however. And Lucian was something that dorlingis did play last week. He is a very strong AD carry. I'd argue almost the strongest at the moment, especially in terms of mid-game pressure and lane control. So Lucian left open is going to be secured. What will be taken by DawnBreaker, though? What will we see next? And it looks like it will be the Hecarim Hover and the Hecarim locked in.
Yeah, DawnBreaker is a very good Hecarim player. He's most played champion. I think he's got like 74 games this season already on him. Yeah, so I mean, the Hecarim is one of those champions who, I think he got buffed a couple patches ago, so he's kind of viable, but you know, it doesn't really work that well this early on in a comp. Hecarim is more of like
Kindred.
Well, I like that. Kindred's very strong, especially with the Gnar as well. It means you got that front line, you got the double range on the top side for early pressure onto whatever icdathwp will actually pick up. Obviously, you got the ultimate as well to stop you in the team fight. As you know, generally these teams will be playing battle comps or 5v5 comps.
And then we're seeing the Lux actually come in. That's going to be a question. Is that going to be a mid Lux or a support Lux? Judging by the way how the Chiefs are picking right now, it looks like they're picking to their roles, so I wouldn't be surprised if Malfunction is actually going to be taking that Lux in mid. Panda right now hovering the Zed, however. This is one of the stronger picks that you were highlighting before. Or will it be the Sylas?
I think Sylas is a much better pick up here than the Zed. I think the Zed's very one-dimensional.
Nico. There's still the Nico. We spent a lot of time talking about Nico.
Nico's very strong this patch, and so Nico in the mid lane or top lane will be very, very good, especially into this Lux. So Lux is one of those champions who, I mean, she's just like not the best. I think she's definitely playable, but the fact she's so immobile and her skills are so long range, she's just very easy to get on top of, very easy to kill. And so to play Lux, especially in a 5v5 environment or the highest level, you need to be very aware of where you are. And I think this Hecarim's going to have a field day ganking this mid lane, especially with the Nico route.
Well, Ezreal is taken off the board for the Chiefs, so Dorlingis won't be able to play that. Brand banned in response. Something I'm looking at these teams and I'm starting to get a little worried about. Not a lot of engage tools from either side just yet. Like, yeah, you have Nara's ultimate. Yeah, you can have the Hecarim sort of pick off, but no big team fight engage yet.
And I mean, Nico's ultimate, Pop Blossom's fairly big, but you do have to use the...
you got to be stealthy with that.
You get a W to go in, then you use the Proto Belt as well just before you leap up in the air to land it on everybody.
But I don't feel that's the team fight. Well, there's no protection for her if she does that. So the second they see Nico
I hope they pick something like a Braum here in the bot lane. I would have expected them to take that over the Nico, actually.
Well, they're going to ban away the Alistar, actually. So it looks like they're a little bit concerned about, these engaged supports potentially. I don't know. I'd like to see some. Yeah, Braum would be a good pick. Another Leona potentially, I think, would be a strong pick for either of these teams right now.
The Chiefs definitely need some more engage. They only have a very strong engage tool. I would like them to see I think taking Braum here is really good, and then it still leaves that Nick up as a flex pick could go mid or top.
Well, there's
they lock in the Malphite here. I feel like
that's engage.
I mean, it is engaged, but I don't feel like it doesn't really synergize with any of the other champions. The Malphite will kind of go in, and then all these other champions don't have like ways to kind of join in. And also in the top side, the Malphite's going to get slapped around by the Null super hard. Obviously, Null has that range while he's in mini form, and when he's in mega form, he just has wave control. I think this enables Chiefs to go for a very easy split push strategy. Oh, I don't like that.
Opting to lock in Dorlingis on the Jinx, and it looks like Galio. There is a bit. There's your engage. There's your peel. So there's your more of your teamfight support. But the team coming out of the Chiefs right now is looking very scrappy, very skirmishy, but with some strong late game back to front fighters in the mix. It's going to be interesting.
The comp hasn't really got a clear win condition or a clear strategy. All the champions are kind of good at certain things, but they don't really link up together. Right,
there's your Braum.
Yeah, I mean, generally you take the Braum before because the Braum is one of those champions who, isn't that great? Obviously, Braum might actually be better than Galio. It depends how these Aftershock and Talus, was it the Targon's nerfs come out?
Yep.
So I don't actually know how much the Aftershock's going to affect Galio, which is one of the reasons why he's so strong, because he's able to get a Taunt Flash or Taunt Hex Flash onto a carry, and then he struggles with, engaging that way. So, it depends how these nerfs go. I think Galio could get hurt, especially when there's a Lucian Braum in the lane. And if he's not carefully playing around that Aftershock effectively, he could get caught out.
Now, what's your take on this one? Because I'm noticing at the moment, both supports, THASMALLBOI and Bennerokss, are each going with the exhaust as opposed to the ignite or even
it definitely makes sense for Galio to take the exhaust here. The Lucian and Braum are going to be looking for early kills in this lane. Jinx isn't going to really be able to put up with Lucian at all in this fight, in this lane. So the exhaust is definitely the way to go. I think Braum should have ignite. But also Braum's one of those champions you'd like to play a little bit back more and play a bit more defensively. So I can understand why they wouldn't be doing that so much as we're going to wait 3 minutes before we jump into champion select.
Yes, we do. Something I want to add on to which I actually really like out of that Braum pick as well, because it really shut down the kill pressure that a Galio Jinx is going to be bringing in that lane. It's going to be very hard for them to get that kill unless we see an amazing gank out of Kindred early, but I just don't see Kindred helping get that kill against the Braum.
Yeah, I think there's definitely more late game team fight on the side of
the Chiefs.
Yeah,
the Chiefs.
Because the Lux obviously can play it front to back. Once they get ultimate gets down to about 30 seconds, she's going to be much harder to take down and kill because she can just sit back and spam ultis. You got the Kindred Jinx. Kindred obviously can ult protect the Jinx if they stay together. Galio but I do think, of course, Galio as well can follow up the engage on the Gnar. But the one issue having Kindred into something like a Malphite, the one the Malphite works really well here is because the Kindred ultimates, a certain range, and if the Jinx, for example, will Jinx and Kindred will stay together if the Kindred's going to use the ultimate to protect the Jinx, which means the Malphite can potentially set up a really nice combo engage, either after the Lame's Respite comes down or beforehand, and they could try blow it up while they're still CC'd with the Lucian Braum and Nico burst damage.
And you did mention before, that Nico burst damage is what we're going to get to, because you said before you're a little bit worried about how they're going to be able to follow up that Malphite engage. I think Nico's really going to be that best way to do it, because the Malphite jumps in. Hopefully that could buy enough time for Nico to get in there as well, possibly even get to that backline, drop her ultimate, and that will just blow up Jinx, Kindred if she's not ready, Lux. It's going to be tough for the Chiefs to really protect these squishy carries.
The Chiefs carries are going to have to position really effectively in these team fights so they don't get caught out. Because generally there'll be a call from Malphite Hecarim. They'll say, look, our ultimates are up, we're going to dive in now, Nico goes, all right, I'm pressing W, I'm charging ultimate. The CC will come in, layer it in. if you get a Pop Blossom, a Rock Solid, what's it called? Unstoppable Force into a Unstoppable of the Dead, I think that's Hecarim's ultimate's called, or Shadow Force or something like that, into the Pop Blossom with a culling on the end of it. That's so much damage, so many ultimates coming down on these 3 carries that could get CC locked, which means an instant champion falling down for the side of the Chiefs.
That's it, but that's only if we really get to that late game. I'm still much more concerned with the Chiefs early and mid game, especially out of that bot lane. Like, I know I'm kind of sounding a bit broken record here, but the early game matchups, I feel, except for in the top lane.
I don't think Kindred has tempo in the jungle over Hecarim.
No, I don't
Just because he's able to 1v1 him quite early on, and Lux will have priority over that Nico early game, because Nico's wave clear is very conditional, right? The only reason why we didn't see Nico earlier come up in professional play is because her pop boss, bossing boom, or her Q, anyways, has to kill a minion to get multiple procs or hit the champion. Yeah. So to actually clear that backline wave, you have to get to level 9 plus have a little bit of AP. You have to order the minion and then throw your Q to clear it. With a Lux, by about level 8, if she takes demons and she builds AP, should be able to clear that wave out with an E and a Q pretty much. And then with obviously autos to grab that last hit. So she should have priority in that lane, which means having priority to the mid lane means the Kindred's going to be able to invade a lot more effectively and try to put behind this Hecarim and have support from the Lux and the Galio, of course, with the ultimate, who can support these engages once he gets 6 down the bot lane.
I do feel like, however, though, that's assuming that Nico's going for that AP build. We still could see the AD on hit, Nico.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, yeah. It could be either or. I mean, I do think Somerset has a much better comp. They have, more winning lanes. They have easier ways to kind of, not really, they just win the bot lane super hard. If this Jinx can survive the lane phase and the Jinx can get ahead, I think there's definitely an option for Chiefs to come and really roll over this game. But I think if the Chiefs are going to win, it's going to be through getting those Jinx to 3-4 items, just taking these team fights really intelligently around Elder Dragon and Baron, and then winning the game through that way.
Exactly. So not too much time now before we get into this game. We've kind of gone over the win conditions of each team. Do you feel brave enough to make a prediction? Who do you think is going to win this one?
I mean, I'm definitely going to be a little biased when I say Somerset. Obviously, it's my school, so I would like to see him have success here on the stage. I do like their team comp as well. They've got a much better win condition, a really strong bot lane 2v2 as well. But I also don't want to overplay the effect of the Kindred, of course, being piloted by such a strong player. I probably want much stronger than probably the strongest player playing today. So, obviously, that rank difference and that skill difference is a big thing. And it'll be interesting to see how much of an effect that has on the game today.
It will be, and I'm actually going to play a bit of devil's advocate. I actually think the Chiefs are going to win this one because I'm looking at we've taken a little bit of a peek at the players' past performances in solo queue. Take that what you will. It's a completely different environment and competitive, so this doesn't hold too much water. But I feel as if, at least more recently, the Chiefs have had more successful results. I also am a bit more familiar with their program, so I know how hard they're training. I know how hard they work. And I'm looking at these late game threats. Like I'm looking at Jinx late game. I'm looking at Kindred late game when she starts, stacking up. And I feel like if they can play this comp effectively, yes, it's the harder team comp to pull off. Their damage is actually insane. Like these are late game carry monsters. Exactly, and if we can get to that level, I think the Chiefs can take this.
I completely agree, yeah. If they can get to that, if the carries play effectively in these team fights, it's going to be very good to see him go. As we will be jumping into game extremely shortly.
Yes, we will. I believe we're jumping in right now. In fact, the champions are loaded in. We are underway. It is week 2 of the Queensland High School League Championship Series. And right away, it looks pretty stock standard with the builds going out front.
Yeah, of course, the top laner again disconnecting. We might have a pause. We'll be cutting swiftly back to us.
Yep.
But yeah, no, of course, both these teams very, very strong, and yeah.
Yep. And here comes our pause. Can I just offer a bit of advice real quick to Somerset?
Of course.
To avoid situations like this, where you see the pause or you see maybe who knows what's going on behind the scenes, but I think something that would really help is if their top laner get us to summon their name that's a bit,
most definitely.
Easier on the words.
I think the internet's just having too much time rendering icdathwp. I think if it's something like I play top lane, or even hello, like I'd much prefer that. It'd be easy to say.
I am Malphite.
Chair, table, ladder.
Yeah, good.
All these words are fantastic, better than whatever that summoner name is.
I mean, take the Korean and Chinese approach when they translate their names to English. It's usually just like household objects or adjectives or random words. I like chess. I'm playing as pawn.
So. You didn't just... Yeah, no, of course, it's very interesting to see Korean names develop, and I think Monte Cristo has a really nice piece on that he mentioned in a podcast with, I think it was with interview with Score Esports. He's talked about how the Koreans come with their names. They pretty much just put their name into Google Translate and then put it into a bunch of different languages and say, oh, this word's kind of cool, I'll use this one. Use nice symbols and stuff
Things
like that. So it's very interesting to see how they go.
Rookie, who is very much no longer a rookie. What has been your favorite Korean name? I know this is a bit of a... We're going a little bit off kilter here, but favorite Korean name that you've seen?
I mean, you famous in like funny or famous favorite in like a good name?
I'm thinking in terms of a good name, just a good all-around name.
I mean, Faker's fantastic.
Faker is pretty.
Faker's just great. I think I like who's the top laner for SKT a couple years ago?
Duke.
Duke's good. Duke's good.
Because I know Duke is better than Marin.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not as a player, but yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Not as a player in my opinion, but yeah, no. Yeah, that Duke is a great. That's a good name. I just like something nice, short, one syllable.
Yeah.
When you come up with a name.
I love it. I that's so unfair. Imp, I think is a classic as well.
Imp, yeah.
I mean, especially when you get Imp on that Twitch.
Bengi as well. Like, I think Bengi. That's a great summoner name.
That is a good one.
I mean, that is one of the most iconic names in the game. One of the best junglers we've ever seen play the game.
And I mean, Formal is a fantastic name. And hey, look at that, we're back in the game. Excellent, I got the last word, and here we are underway. Once again, it is the Queensland High School League Championship Series. Chisholm Chiefs taking on the Somerset College. So, standard start, not looking like any invades just yet, although Malfunction might be getting a little bit surrounded. Nope, was able to back out in time before anything happened. Still a bit of poke going down there, and actually microlag stepping forward, and there is backup on the sides of Bennerokss, but nope, they're not going to engage, so it's just a bit of level 1 flaunting. Nothing serious going down just yet.
And we will have a more traditional AP Nico this game. You can see she's gone for the Arcane Comet, in the rune choices, and she got the Dorian's Ring Start as well. So if you are going for the on-hit build, you go press the attack into the Inspiration tree, I believe.
Yep.
And then you go with Dorian's Blade to start with as well. So will be a more traditional Nico, which means, of course, that wave clear I talked about before is going to be postponed a little bit, and it's going to be, depending how well this Nico can set up her lanes. But regardless, it's going to be very interesting to see how these teams play together. It
will be very exciting to see as we take a look. Both of our junglers are actually starting on opposite sides, each opting to go with a red buff start. Neither team was able to get a deep ward just in. However, both sides getting strong leashes, so we should be all right in terms of that. Relatively fast clears. It'll be curious to see which jungler will make the first move, though, because they're not really going to be mirroring each other.
Yeah, I mean, they are both clearing opposite sides. If he's Hecarim wants to clear towards his bot lane, the Lucian's going to be the one that's going to be a little bit more aggressive. And going to be taking over the lane a lot more, wanting to make these... Oh, misses the minions.
Ooh, a little bit unfortunate there, not quite connecting with that CS, but it's all right, still early game. I'm sure nerves, because of the delayed starts, might be affecting these players, might be a little antsy. We might be seeing a couple little mechanical misplays to start, but I imagine as the game carries on, players are going to start coming down, and soon we're going to see that play, and that will be a big one. And oh, looks like I was completely wrong. We're actually seeing the DawnBreaker caught out in that river, but nope, not enough pressure there to result in the kill. Almost exciting.
Scuttle goes straight over to Kindred. Obviously, Kindred doesn't have a mark on that Scuttle, so I'd expect it to path straight back down to grab that first signal for her. The Conqueror Kindred build, obviously, with the Conqueror buffs coming in, is really strong on that champion. You know, the Kindred does just win this 1v1. She has a priority in the top lane as well, since it's a melee versus range matchup. So I was able to take advantage of that. I think there was poor pathing a little bit from the Hecarim. I think he should have gone for a more... Should have expected that coming out from the Kindred. That is a very normal path the Kindred would take. She'd path upwards that way.
Yeah, she went red wolves to the top side Scuttle.
Yeah, that's a very common path to come out of these high tempo junglers who's looking for the double scatter, especially the Kindred who wants to get her marks on her first clear. Into the Hecarim, which is more of a champion who's not as aggressive on early game. Yeah, definitely this Kindred's got massively up in tempo, and that is a huge win.
Very much. As you take a look at the main map right there, you can see microlag is already getting started on that second Scuttle. Meanwhile, Hecarim was kind of sticking on the top side, so DawnBreaker following very much behind. And actually, it looks like microlag is starting to invade a bit as we take a look at that mini-map. Meanwhile, a bit of trading going on. Dorlingis getting nailed by Bennerokss' Q. But yeah, junglers have spotted each other. We're seeing the pings come down. That is a very deep microlag. It'll be interesting to see, though, if this is going to turn into a kill for DawnBreaker, because Malfunction is roaming that way, as well as the bot lane from the Chiefs.
Yeah, obviously priority in both lanes from the blue team, and as a result, Hecarim's going to be bullied straight over his jungle. It's really nice play from them playing around their jungler. It is odd, though, that they do have priority. Like, this Lucian Braum should totally be winning this.
That might be a bit ambitious there from the Braum. Just barely caught with the taunt. The follow-up damage is there, but it's not quite enough. Able to jump to the safety with the help of alphajer, but he's still low. This could be a kill. The bind does connect. Here comes the follow-up damage, and there's your first blood going over to Malfurion. However, the mid lane was roaming down. Both DawnBreaker and Panda were coming down too little too late. So first blood to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, there was a very odd play coming out from Somerset College. I think, I don't know what, there's a bit of miscommunication maybe. I mean, the Hecarim, of course, like the Braum Lucian should have had priority in the lane to start with. And then they kind of went for a roam down. They didn't commit fully with both of them 80 carries. Looks like Lucian was more focused on getting the Siesta. And you see Malphite up in the top lane there is starting to get a big lead against this.
Meganar actually quite low, sort of losing the trades against icdathwp. So a bit surprising there, a bit early game struggles from Macintosh Plus.
Yeah, I mean, and going back to that bottom play, I think Lucian held on the heal for ages. You do actually get a small movement speed buff when Lucian heals. So I think the second he walked around the corner, then you know the Lux is there. You need to heal. Again, a little bit of extra movement speed to avoid that skill shots, because the second that light binding comes through, you know that Braum will be falling down quite quickly, and he healed afterwards and took down. So Summoner spells down for Somerset. Flash for Braum as well wasn't used either.
Aggressive play forward there by the small boy, was unable to connect. I also want to give credit to Macintosh Plus right now and how aggressive he's playing that lane, despite being low health, recognizing that icdathwp has no real mana, so the trading potential has actually gone down significantly for Somerset College, unless DawnBreaker is able to rotate top. However, DawnBreaker seems to be more content with power farming to kind of make up for that early game blunder.
Yeah, the jungler, you know, Hecarim obviously just wants to power farm, get his Predator boots, and then start looking on the map. He should have definitely backed after he cleared his top side, so I think he's taking a very greedy path with staying and clearing a jungle for a long time. So, you know, he should be looking to get those Predator boots and then starting looking for these ganks and starting to get early impact on. Get that sweeper and start taking over this map before the Kindred just scales into that late game beast and starts taking over the game.
A little bit unlucky for the Kindred as well, as it looks like the first mark is actually the Gromp on the red side, whereas the next Scuttlebug is on the top side. So a little bit disjointed there at the moment. It looks like microlag is going to be focusing on the Scuttlebug. It'll be interesting to see, though, when someone makes a play for that Gromp on the bot side and how aggressive microlag wants to go for it. Good poke damage coming out in the mid lane, and this could turn into a gank. Here comes microlag, forcing out an early flash out of Panda. Will be safe and on a lot of health, but not what you want to see.
I mean, very interesting from the Nika, though, try to walk towards the top side. Generally, what you want to do with your jungle is you want to path to wherever they're going. Obviously, the Hecarim was resetting. And, you know, I mean, he did get caught by binding, which is interesting play from him, and walk top side. I don't think he needed to burn the flash. I feel like if he pressed R there, pop the Pop Blossom, it would have been enough zone control to force him away. I don't think he would have gone down before he got the stun off. So maybe there's a little bit of not knowing the champion too well, just seeing the buffs from the pack and started to pick it up. But I do see a lot of individual mistakes coming out from Somerset already, which is kind of worrying me a little bit.
It is a bit concerning, but you also have to give credit back to the Chisholm Chiefs. Like, this is, as we're taking a look at the bot lane right now, a bit surprising. Granted, they did get that first blood, thus they have the lane advantage, but here we go. I have a bit of fight happening just above. You can see the junglers are going at it as well. Bennerokss is the one who's quite low, so we cut to the top lane, and they're even fighting up there as well. No mana on icdathwp, which means Macintosh Plus should really be winning this trade, but with the cannon minion and the rest of the red side coming to help, I don't know, it could be a bit even. Here comes the mid lane gang. Beautiful binding connect onto the DawnBreaker, and a flash beast Malfurion will be able to get out safely. Really unfortunate for Somerset that neither of these plays were really to come out in their advantage.
Yo, there were fights all over the map that the Hecarim gang unfortunately not coming out effectively. Didn't quite have that you know, enough speed to get through, and the Lux played a very good skill shot hitting both of those champions there. Unfortunately, Nico couldn't land either of her abilities either, so the Lux very nicely escapes that game.
Yeah, although Flash was born by Malfurion, and Lux, as we were talking about before, low mobility champion, it does open the door for a repeat cake. DawnBreaker even has that Flash available, so I would like to see Hecarim go back there as soon as possible. If there's an available play, I want to see DawnBreaker there.
Yeah, Hecarim should most definitely look towards possibly his mid lane. He needs to get this Nico further and further ahead. They are like kind of low on CS in both those solo lanes, so potentially forcing one out could allow either team to kind of start snowballing that lead a little bit more effectively.
Well, I feel like the top lane has been more interested in brawling with each other than they have been in farming at this stage. And their CS scores reflect that, like both sitting in the 40s. Mid lane, we haven't really been able to see too much of what's going on there, so it's a bit of a surprise that they're that low. I can imagine it's a similar situation. Each Malfurion and Panda looking more to avoid getting nailed by skill shots than focusing on that CS score. However, in the bot lane, both AD carries are farming relatively efficiently, more so on the side of dorlingis. However, that, again, was benefited with that kill to start the game off.
Yeah. I think, like, especially in this early game, it's going to wrap up a little bit. Somerset just haven't been playing around these picks so aggressively. Like, this bot lane has definitely not been pushing their lead of that duo super effectively. Like, the Braum should be looking up to try and bait out a Galio engage. Once you get the taunt and the aftershock off, the Lucian should be able to just instantly kill this Galio. And they're just not doing it. I think they're just
Ooh, this is aggressive play. That taunt will connect. Bennerokss might be in trouble, but the culling is going to come down. No follow-up mana, however, and it doesn't quite do enough to really dissuade the Chiefs, who could go back in aggressively. If you look at the minimap, though, DawnBreaker is nearby, whereas microlag is sort of on the opposite end of the map, actually looking towards top lane. So no kill will happen this time. But if I were icdathwp, I'd be a little nervous right now. I feel like we're going to see some action in the top lane very soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Will the Chiefs pull the trigger? The answer is yes. Here comes microlag. Here comes the stacks. 1, 2, 3.
Available.
Oh, that burst damage wasn't quite enough. There is still a flash on icdathwp. He's not going to use it. Smartly walking away. So
I mean, he does have the ninja tabby as well. So against both these Conqueror champions, he does have the armor to resist the auto attacks. Able to just walk away. He's a Malphite. Still had his ultimate available as well. So if he needed to use the Unstoppable Force to get out, he could have.
Yeah. That was I feel like there was very little to gain from that gank in the top side, unfortunately, just because of how healthy icdathwp was. He still had his summoners. The items aren't really quite there yet for microlag and Macintosh Plus. However, sometimes it's nice to just say, hi, I'm a jungler, I exist, don't get too comfortable in that lane. Meanwhile, in the bot side, Chisholm CHIEFS continuing to perform really, really strongly. Now sitting 15 CS up over alphajer, and they're starting to get those tower platings down. That equals more gold, as we've seen the lead for the Chiefs extend to over 1K at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like one of the big things for Somerset is I feel in that bot lane, it's a little bit of a disconnect between what the Lucian and the Braum both want to do. Seeing a little trade in the top side.
That Phage is doing work, actually, coming out of Macintosh Plus. icdathwp is getting chunked quite low. Won't have to burn any summoners, though. I am really admiring the patience coming out of icdathwp as the bind does connect onto Panda. Again, not enough damage really yet for any of these solo kills. A lot of poking and prodding, not a lot of kills in this one.
Yeah, Panda's getting hit
here
by
we go. Here comes the gang top. Oh my gosh, it was a good dodge by Macintosh, but not quite enough as DawnBreaker is able to secure the first kill for Somerset College, evening up that kill score.
Yeah, there you go. And nice gank into the top side. Somerset College able to pick up that kill quite effectively. Nice wave management by the loot.
We're not done yet, though. You gank top, we gank bot. Here comes the retribution attack. Bennerokss actually doing a lot of tanking right now as he gets taunted back in, but he's still alive. He is low. Will he go down? The answer will be yes, it is. Dorlingis just connecting with that last auto. Very, very close as alphajer unable to really get a lot of damage back out. Good retribution kill for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, and then like the Braum had onto the exhaust for so long there in this
fight. Connected, and there's backup coming. Panda could be a large up, is going to flash forward with the ultimate. However, Galio is there to try and keep things safe, as well as a Kindred ult malfunction, getting a very easy kill, and that will equal the first dragon, a water drake for the Chiefs.
Very interesting rotation down there from Panda. Burned the flash as well when he saw the other 4 people coming in from the other side. I don't feel like there's enough communication in Somerset about what they want to play around, what they're trying to do. I mean, like there was a bot lane play that didn't work out for the Nico, so he's got to get out of the river and shouldn't still be hanging around that area. Either got to commit very early to coming down, or just not come at all.
Yeah, it was a bit of a late rotation, and unfortunately for Panda, they got caught out. As a result, we're now getting closer to about a 1.5k gold lead for the Chiefs. We're still early. This isn't catastrophic. Somerset still has the tools to really bring this game back in. They did lose Water Dragon, which I think is actually going to be very helpful if, especially for this bot lane, which seems content to just farm and siege. It's going to make them even harder to deal with unless we see a great engagement out of Bennerokss. But I feel, microlag has just done a great job of being where he needs to be every time it looks like Somerset's trying to make a play.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like the biggest thing is like Somerset have not taken advantage of this bottom lane. This Jinx is ahead and she shouldn't be. These Lucian and Braum haven't punished her hard enough in the lane phase. And, I mean, the lead's not irrecoverable, of course. Lucian is still stronger than Jinx for the majority of the game, and Jinx has gone for the Zeal Infinity Edge, which means her power curve, is going to be much below what it would be if she went for the attack speed boots plus the Infinity Edge. Just in terms of pure stats, it's just more effective to build that way.
But that said, when you're ahead, you feel that confidence, and you could be going like, you know what, I'm ahead, I'm doing well. Let's go for that late game.
I mean,
we're going to get there sooner.
It's still just much more efficient to build the attack speed boots because you're going to build them anyways.
Man, they are just railing on this tower, and it doesn't look like Somerset's able to respond. Unfortunately, alphajer isn't there. It's just a poor lone Bennerokss working on his own to try and stop this siege from dorlingis.
I mean, I would expect the Kindred now to start playing a lot more heavy.
Here we go. Here comes the gang. The DawnBreaker's coming in. Beautiful reaction time out of THASMALLBOI, doing as much as he can. A triple stun taunt is able to help by dorlingis time, but in the end, dorlingis should fall. The shutdown goes going to the correct character with alphajer, and they want more. The small boy is on the run. The Braum Q does connect, though. Will the follow-up be there? Yes, it is. Getting trampled down. DawnBreaker picking up another kill for Somerset to even this kill score up.
Yeah, and that brings back the gold lead quite significantly. Picked up a bounty on the Jinx as well. That's how the bot lane should have looked the entire game. The Lucian and Braum have so much easy accessible CC and a lot of damage coming in as well. And they should be able to chip down a lot of these tower plates in the next 10 seconds before they expire.
Yeah, they actually might get 3. They're definitely going to get 3. They might even get 4. As we take a look, as that was going on, microlag realized, I can still get something. Was able to get yet another mark, this time for Somerset's red buff. As we take a look back in the mid lane, now we're seeing a bit more damage starting to come out of that Lux. Panda has to start avoiding those skill shots.
Yeah, Panda's been hitting by so many roots in these.
icdathwp is doing a lot of damage to microlag, actually, and there is backup, however, from Malfunction, which means that Malphite is on. So he's going to drop the ult anyways, because backup is here. Microlag will be the one who falls, and that is Malfunction. Next on the agenda is going to flash over the wall to safety, however, and that will satisfy that, it appears. Rift Herald not going to be able to go down this time around.
Yeah, no, very nice play there from the top lane, able to catch out in the mid lane. Oh, sorry, in the river there. Sorry, it's Panda maybe looking for something.
Panda, very aggressive ultimate. Unfortunately, no one's really there. And now Panda's in a lot of trouble. Here comes THASMALLBOI trying to follow up. The Q damage is enough to initiate. dorlingis gets the kill. Initiate the kill for the Jinx. 2-1-2 now on dorlingis. This Jinx is starting to snowball.
Yeah, I mean, again, was able to get through that lane phase extremely quickly. I mean, I do think she's still lacking a bit of power, so build's a little bit inefficient here, I think. I mean, I don't know why she's gone for
Rune Hurricane?
Yeah, generally go IE into attack speed since ever they made the changes to the buff.
As we are waiting to see more action, a little bit of microphone adjusting going on. Sorry you had to hear that. Game's still going though, as we go back to the bot lane. Untouched right now, actually. alphajer and Bennerokss is going to be able to get the first tower of the game, so a small victory there for Somerset, but a very much needed one. However, in the top lane, icdathwp is in a lot of trouble because now the damage there, this Malphite is just getting burned through, has to force the flash. Backup is here, but it might be too little too late as microlag picks up the kill, and a wonderful Kindred ult keeps this jungler alive. DawnBreaker might be looking to re-engage, but I don't see an opportunity there. He's still going to go for it, flashes forward, has that burst damage from microlag, will go down. We're not done yet, though, as macintosh plush is looking to get a bit of a retribution. Down goes the hacker room as we cut to the mid lane. More action happening, or maybe not quite, as champions are going to walk away.
There was a super, I mean, obviously it was really nice from DawnBreaker to see that gank coming out of the top side and look to counter gank. Obviously didn't get that quick enough.
But Bennerokss stepping forward, actually. Yeah, there was no follow-up there, though. I'm not sure.
It was actually really bad for the DawnBreaker to engage. Of course, she did get a kill on the Kindred. It was a really nice Lamb's Respite there from the Kindred, obviously, to execute the tower dive effectively. But the Heck Room had like about a 600 gold bounty. Now that going over to the Gnar means it's going to be so much harder for his top lane to survive, and giving the red buff to the Gnar as well is almost, it's probably the worst thing you can possibly do as a jungler.
I really want to see what Gnar is going to buy right now, because Gnar has not been back in a very long time.
Straight to Cleaver, I think.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to see Cleaver, but I wonder if we're going to see some more as we take a look. Yep, it is straight into Cleaver. All right. So Gnar finally completing his first item. I imagine we're going to see the Sunfire Cape out of Malphite very, very shortly with this next back, so not too much of a differential there, as we have a bit of a fight happening in the bot lane. Now it's a bit more of a kerfuffle. The small boy has been playing very aggressive, though, so if an opening happens, he is going to take it. The bind actually does connect on the Panda. Panda is just not having a good time against Malfunction in the mid lane.
Yeah, there's so many skill shots he's just being hit by repetitively again and again. It's kind of, it's very worrying to see him do this like many, many times. He needs to be focused on dodging this, and really a nice play being sort of hit in the bot side by
it's a bit of a bait. They won't see him. The pink ward is there on the jungle, so I do not believe Somerset knows what's happening because they're flashing forward, but the junglers are there. Surprise! It's a fight! Here we go. That's the boy doing a great job and trying to back off that back line as in the front line. DawnBreaker is just going to go down. The front to back out of Chisholm CHIEFS is so much stronger at the moment. Kills falling left, right, and center. In the end, it is 3 for 1 with a shutdown gold going over to Jinx. She picked up 1 in that, as well as microlag, I believe, picked up another 2. In the top lane, well, we're just seeing some poking.
A bit of a wet noodle fight up in the top lane now. You won't see many kills coming through up there until a little bit later in the game. Really nice play counter gank there from the Kindred. Again, this Heckrum's kind of just running in and getting caught out a little bit. Very nice from the Jinx, though. I think her positioning was absolutely essential. We did highlight at the very start of this game. It's very important that the Chiefs carry position correctly in these skirmishes and fights. And the Jinx immediately getting to the front to back there would mean she was fighting very much more where she wanted to be. She was able to unload that damage, having no threat from the Braum being able to get onto her. And as a result, that's why they won that fight. So Hefty, the Illusion, although he's a stronger champion now, even with the Jinx having this gold lead, an item advantage, the Illusion is still just stronger, has stronger base damage. Until that Jinx completes her IE, which she's pretty much about to do, the Illusion still does more damage. Or she doesn't anymore because obviously the Jinx has her IE, didn't have it before. It just depends on how well the Illusion's playing this fight.
Exactly that. And something else I want to point out to, like, to further give credit to the Chiefs, microlag's ultimate was available that entire time and didn't even need to be used. That's how confident they were with that team fight going that way. The small boy did an excellent job in sort of forcing the attention onto him, while dorlingis just
he got a really nice 2-man taunt onto the Braum and Illusion, which means had no DPS coming out, had the Aftershock as well to tank up that damage, and obviously the taunt gives you resistances as well. And
Yeah,
DawnBreaker's just really not thinking about where this Kindred is.
Oh my goodness, yeah, DawnBreaker, a big cut out. The flash forward actually coming out of microlab. They're going to be looking for this tower dive. DawnBreaker has nowhere to go. That will be an easy kill picked up, and we're not done yet because Galio has arrived. Unable to connect with the lunge, but does connect with the taunt. The damage is there, but oh no! Microlag goes down without using his ultimate. A little bit of a misstep there, so Somerset is able to get one back.
You see the Kindred's going for an Infinity Edge here as well. It's a very peculiar build you see coming out of there.
That's not good for Bennerokss, who looks to be caught out. However, a little help has arrived in form, and Nico just going to do a lot of damage. Kaboom! Panda pills the small boy and once more. That is a very, very low luck. There he goes. Finally, Malfunction goes down. Dorlingis is on his own and will fall as well. That's 3 kills for the side of Somerset. And once again, we are tied for kills. Somerset, you know, they're looking like they're behind. They're looking like they're struggling. But when you look at the kills and now when you look at the gold, they have the lead.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is actually, interestingly enough, coming from the mid lane as well. I mean, Lucian as well is quite even with this, or neck and neck with this Jinx. Both those carries are putting out a lot of damage, but Nico obviously just back got her. Luden's Echo was on the way back up, and you know, as a result, was able to get up a really nice ultimate in the jungle, pick up a lot of these kills in the backline. Nice root coming through as well.
Culling going down, actually doing a lot of damage there to Macintosh Blush. I'd like to see them keep pushing right now. I'm a little surprised they're backing off, but I guess there's only 2 of them. They don't really know where the rest of the Chiefs are. So
I mean, the rest of the team's just respawning. The rest of the team resets, so it's the correct thing to do. I don't think these teams do need to think more about their opponents. I see like little bits of it. So, you know, the Hecarim was looking for a nice counter gank, and the Lucian and the Nico, they're rotating into the jungle, expect them to chase into the Braum. So there are elements of this where they're kind of, thinking about what their opponents are doing, but there's also big lapses for the rest of the game where the Hecarim's just not thinking about where the Kindred's going to be. They're not thinking about what's the next thing these guys are going to do. They're not thinking about what their champion strengths are and stuff like that. They're thinking about what they can do and not what the opponents can do, and I feel like they're getting caught out quite a lot because of it.
Yes, as we can see, the siege is now underway for the Chiefs. Poor Bennerokss on his own, the lone Braum holding up his shield to try and defend that mid tower. However, backup does arrive in the form of Panda. So I believe this siege may start to stall a bit. It kind of looks like we are starting to turn a little bit into an ARAM setup as microlab is going a bit aggressive after Bennerokss forces the Braum away. The wave is there. Can they get the tower on the... No, they don't need the tower damage. What was that? Microlag's damage just burst it down. Alphajer, seemingly out of nowhere. I saw that, Dorlingis was doing thwack, 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 and then here comes Microlag, kaboom. Down goes Alphajer.
There's a Kindred Q auto. Obviously, when you auto off the Q, you do get 2 extra kind of on hit procs, I suppose. So that's what they kind of chased down Lucian and took him down quite effectively. I mean, the biggest issue here is for the side of the Chiefs is they need to have 4 people in the mid lane because the Lux's side lanes are really poor. Yeah, it's really important that Panda rotate out to the side lane there and, they start winning these side lanes and then look to group into the middle and take advantage of this Jinx.
Yeah, momentum very much going back into the Chiefs' favor. They have once again reclaimed that 1K gold lead. During all of that as well, a Cloud Drake was picked up. So we're sitting at like a 2 dragon, 1K gold lead, 1 tower gold lead, and Somerset once again on the defensive, clearing out some of those deep vision that was pushed there by Microlag when he chased Bennerokss before. As the Chiefs are rotating top, there's only 1 tier 1 tower left. It's in the top lane, and it doesn't look like Somerset is reacting fast enough.
Yeah, no, Somerset, I mean, I feel like this entire game, Chiefs have had tempo control.
And here we go.
Yeah,
once again, those Krugs have been bad luck for DawnBreaker. Seems like every time he goes there, Microlag is waiting there, just scaring Hecarim away. And yeah, with 1 tower gone, they may want more. The siege is going to continue. They know Malphite is bot lane.
That's to get us out.
Yeah, here comes the teleport. He has to teleport up right now. Can they turn this into a fight? If you look on the flank,
to Baron here.
Yeah, they could. DawnBreaker is actually recalling at the moment, which means the Chiefs should have a free...
No, Chiefs need to rotate straight to Baron, start setting up vision around that, and then look for baits, kind of like they've done around that Krugs there. They need to look for baits around the Dragon, yeah. They need to get this Baron control, they need to start playing around mid lane priority, and then bot lane, side lane priority with the Gnar. Playing a 4-1 style, letting the Gnar stack up his Rage Board, stack up his Fury Bar, or Resource Bar, and then teleport into the middle of the fight. To kind of use full utilization of this Gnar. The team comp now is to do just get the Gnar on a side lane and then get the 4 people in the mid lane. Preferably you want the Gnar in the bot lane to kind of stretch out Somerset's resources, and it's very simple if they can just execute this and pull off the win.
Well, instead, they look to reset, and at the moment, it kind of gave priority back over to Somerset. Somerset, who has the ward control on both Dragon and Baron at the moment, actually might be the ones who look for the play, but not if the Chiefs decide to just run it straight at them, kind of forcing Somerset to back off for now, and that may turn into a Dragon for the Chiefs, or are they going to look to siege mid instead? As a group, they are moving back to that mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, all that's going to happen now is going to do the traditional Baron dance. I think they should just give up Cloud Drake. They don't need it. It's kind of unnecessary. If Somerset go for the Cloud Drake, you just start the Baron and then you just take it and kill them all.
Oh, another binding connecting onto Panda, but Panda with the return damage had some help from alphajer. The ultimate will come down. This should be alphajer's kill. Yep, with the culling, it is secured. So Somerset once again tying up that kill score, and it does force off the Chiefs, who look to be starting Baron. However, without their mid laner, they realize they lose the pressure. No Baron yet.
It's a huge miscommunication and a huge mistake there from the Lux. There's no way she should be positioned up there in the mid lane looking for an aggressive play. She'd be looking with her team to play around the Baron. It was very clear the call was for everyone to move towards that objective. And obviously her being called out there means that she goes down. But, you know, like the Chiefs are just so far ahead in tempo, even though they're not up in gold.
Oh, here we go. Action in the mid lane right now, as it is jungler versus top laner, and icdathwp is actually thwapping and smacking that Kindred down. Meanwhile, Somerset does secure the dragon, but at what cost? Because icdathwp may have gone too deep. The rest of the Chiefs are rare. Macintosh plus securing the kill, and they may want more. Oh no, DawnBreaker's actually coming in. The target was that Jinx, but it's not enough damage to get the kill. Fortunately, a wonderful bind coming out of Panda will stop that engaging, may even turn to kill. Bennerokss flash forwards and kills the Jinx, and all of a sudden this fight is blown right open. Somerset can take this. Here comes DawnBreaker, tripling right on through, kills the Galio, and once more under the tower they go. Down goes the Gnar. Macintosh flush falling to the hands of Panda, as it is malfunctioned, getting a kill on the Hecarim in return, but there's still a full health alphajer right there doing so much work on both the tower and onto malfunction as well, and in the end Somerset comes out on top.
It was a really interesting fight. Obviously Somerset went to move towards that Cloud Dragon. Malfunction went down earlier, and as a result forced her team to kind of take that fight in the mid lane there, and you know they will all fall to the Hecarim, who's able to get a really nice ultimate off the Braum and flashed in as well. Was able to take a lot of damage with that Unbreakable. So really nice team fight from Somerset. They were able to execute effectively, and it was one of those things where the carries from the Chiefs grouped up, got hit by multiple CC effects, and then they didn't have any damage from these Jinx. Once she gets CC'd up, once she gets taken down, she's very immobile, and without that flash, she can't do much.
How about the courage, though, coming out of Bennerokss as well, seeing that opportunity to flash forward, drop the ultimate, and pop dorlingis. That is not a normal play you see come out of a Braum.
I mean, it's not normal, but you should be looking for those kind of options. He's the only one on his team with flash besides the Lucian. Oh, and Lucian doesn't even have it. He's still coming out. Yeah, he was the only one with flash, only one really able to get in there. And, you know, once you get that Jinx down, especially on that low health, it means you can kind of combat it and come back with a lot more in that team fight. And once you, obviously, they didn't have the Lux in the fight because Lux was dead. Didn't have Kindred because Kindred was dead. So obviously, once they take down that Jinx, it's just no threat from the rest of the Chiefs. Yeah,
really, at the moment, I feel that the Chiefs lose the Kindred ultimate, they should not be fighting. That Kindred ultimate is so critical. dorlingis cannot afford to die.
I mean, they can still win these fights with just the Jinx. Like, the Jinx is still very strong with the Infinity Edge and Hurricanes. I think once you get a Rage Blade as well, which I've seen come out from the Jinx, which is...
Well, I'm just talking about in terms of keeping the Jinx alive, because the second you don't have that protection...
I mean, as I said, we analyzed at the very start, it's really important that the Lux and the Jinx and the Kindred all position like perfectly to prevent these wombo engages from Somerset. I also like... one thing I would like to highlight was the build coming out from Nico. She's gone for the Morellonomicon second, which is a very interesting build. Generally, you'll go for the Proto Belt into a Rabadon's Death Cap instead of the Ludens, or you can go Luden's second as well for the AP. Because
we might have a bit of fight microlag actually trying to find a way into the back line of Somerset. Unfortunately, all what microlag was able to find was at Bennerokss. This Braum, I feel, has been improving more and more so as the game goes on. He is starting to get his positioning a bit more down packed. I believe he may have been one of the ones who the nerfs may have been affecting him early, but as of late, he has been in the right defensive positions, I found.
I think actually in the bot lane, like Braum's probably been the better one. He's been more like doing the correct plays. Just the Lucian just wasn't on the same page, so it looked worse from the support. Yeah. But he's the one I got more impressed with in the laning phase than the Lucian in particular. Yeah,
Bennerokss has actually, from my eyesight, I feel he has been very impressive this game.
Yeah.
And if that can continue, that could be a huge factor in shutting down the damage that could come out of both microlag and dorlingis, but most importantly, shutting out the damage that could come out of malfunction.
Yeah, for sure. Ooh, sorry. No, I think like it's literally just all the Chiefs have to do is just you need to just get into that river and just kill.
Binding does not connect on Bennerokss, but this still could be a Braum cut out of position. It's the caster curse. We give him the praise, and down he goes. Michael just give us a 4-man ultimate from icdathwp. It does force the Kindred ult as well, and with the bind onto Panda. Panda can't quite get in, but here it comes. Here comes the boom. No, it's knocked away. DawnBreaker, though, is able to kill the Jinx. dorlingis is down. The calling completely whiffed, but it might not matter. Malfunction goes down to alphajer in the end, as Microtosh Plus is trying to run away from DawnBreaker on the backside. Won't be able to get out of it, and it is a double kill for both Lucian and for DawnBreaker as well. A complete ace coming out of the Somerset College.
Surely go to Baron here.
They got a Baron.
Yeah.
This is 100% a Baron.
I mean, that was a really nice, it was a really poor engage decision from the Chiefs. They had all the control, all the tempo in the mid lane, and they burnt all of their cooldowns trying to kill a support.
Yeah.
And because they bought all those cooldowns, the Jinx as well was in the mid lane, had kind of pathed around that Rocky crop and got caught out by the Lucian on the backside. So Lucian was able to just insta-kill the Jinx. And then from that, they have no damage. You know, obviously the Malphite got the 4-man ultimate because they were all grouped up. They weren't positioning effectively.
Yep.
I don't know if it was all kind of hungry for the kill or something like that. And as a result, they got heavily punished for it.
This Baron kind of taking a bit of time. DawnBreaker's actually getting quite low. DawnBreaker's getting quite low. Okay, there was a bit of a smite used early there actually to heal himself up. And there we go. Okay, so they still get it. That was a little scary.
I was close, but I don't think, like, the Baron doesn't really do a lot of damage these days. It does. The main thing about the Baron is it just gives resistance shred, so it's hard to sit on the Baron and then turn for a fight, which is one of the biggest issues that you know, teams have with Baron. That's why the games were so much longer, if you remember, before they made the changes to Baron, in terms of the strength of the buff. But I think with this Baron buff Somerset now, they got a kill lead, they got a little bit of a gold lead. They want to really start wrestling this tempo back and start playing the map a lot better, because they've been very poor with where they've been positioning around the map, and they're very lucky that Chiefs have made these crucial mistakes and allowed them back into this game time and time again.
Yeah, and because like, their window of being back in this game, as we take a look at the Chiefs getting rid of this Ocean Drake, isn't that large. Like, Jinx is sitting on 2.5 items now. You have Kindred sitting on essentially 3 items now. And they're just going to be getting stronger and stronger. So there is a window now. Somerset has opened up that door. They've got to take it. They have Baron right now. I want to see the siege. I want to see towers fall. They have to make it happen. It is now or never for the red side.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very close game. I mean, they will get a lot off this Baron. Hopefully, like, they have the waves in the right positions. Interesting to see that the Jinx and the Galio and the bot side. It means they could lose like 3 or 4 turrets here if Somerset play it correctly around this move.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. It looked like the call was maybe a flank tower dive, but not really going to commit to it. So the first wave of the siege, not quite as effective as they would like to be. Yeah, they got the tier 1 tower, but they need to get more out of this, although it did force the back out of dorlingis and the small boy, so.
They need pressure on the sideline. They don't have any pressure on the sideline, so this mid lane siege isn't that effective against this high wave, clear, high damage comp.
They're actually losing side lane pressure in the top at the moment, so someone's going to have to react to that. This is, yeah, a little bit of misplays in macro coming out of Somerset.
I mean, I feel like the Nico in particular hasn't been too smart with where she's positioning the map. She's pretty much been in the mid lane the entire time, which means her and Lucian have been sharing farm. Which means as a result, both those carries are further behind. Like, she's 147 CS. I mean, anything below like 200 CS at this kind of point in the game is kind of a little bit.
Not ideal is what I would like to say.
Not ideal, yeah. It's you should be looking. You should be, especially now as one of the mid lane or bot lane carries. You should be looking around that, you know, at least 250 to 80 CS margin at this kind of level.
I will say this though, and this kind of shows my mindset and perhaps the kind of games I usually play. Maybe it's not, like, Panda might not be at the ideal CS level, but she's where she needs to be because she is ahead of her opponent in malfunction.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is these mid laners just aren't picking up these side lanes. What you want to do when you're playing solo queue, especially at home, is people have this thing where they go, oh, I'm at you know 10 CS PM at about 20 minutes into the game, and then my bot lane comes mid lane. You know, the first thing you do as a mid lane is you want to take control of these side lanes. The side lanes are your lanes, and if you want to maintain that 8 to 10 CS PM, it's really important you pick up these side lanes.
Are doing such a good job right now on just exerting map pressure well down Baron, although the back timers were not aligned right there. dorlingis got out, but the small boy is left to his lonesome. Here comes Panda. The bind will connect. The follow-up damage from DawnBreaker should be enough to get the kill, kind of actually knocking them out of the Nico queue, but it will not matter. The kill will go over to Panda. There it is. A nice little licky lick from the tongue, and Panda picks up a kill.
Licky lick from the tongue?
That was a tongue shot.
No, it's just an empowered auto attack. It still comes out of a
I always
finger.
thought she was licking.
No.
I always thought that it's a chameleon.
It was never
Chameleon's lick.
She pings it and she flings. It's like a little slingshot thing.
Look, let's
watch the animation of it. It's literally like a little. He pulls her arm back and it's like a little slingshot thing. It's like a crossbow or.
This is actually trouble. Sorry to cut you off, but a binding did connect onto the Bennerokss, and Bennerokss will go down.
Yeah, a bit of a different from the Nico tongue discussion, but yeah, mid lane, the support obviously by himself out there, not playing around where the rest of his team is. See, it's a little slingshot. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, of course, the support not playing correctly around his team gets caught out in the middle and there instantly goes down. Doesn't have a bounty there, so it's not that bad. I mean, yeah, these bounties mean they'll swing the gold advantage quite hard back in the favor of the Chiefs. So Somerset have to be very careful and not of these big bounties to go over to the enemy team.
Exactly. Blue buff will be secured right there. And actually not being given over to Malfunction. Sort of an interesting choice for Kindred to
I mean, the Blux doesn't really need it. She's got the Luden, she's got the mana sustain she needs. She's not really moving to these side lanes, so she's just using her Q maybe. Like, Lux is one of the champions who doesn't really struggle with mana, and her cooldowns are quite low anyway. So the blue buff going over is not it's the biggest thing.
I still wouldn't mind.
I mean, usually you just give it to mid laners anyways, but at this point in the game, it doesn't really matter.
It's a force of habit for me.
Yeah.
As a jungle main, I see blue buff, I offer it to my mid lane. My mid lane doesn't pay attention to the mini map, I take it anyways. It's just how it goes. As we continue. Yeah, you must have nightmares about the games I play, as this is a trouble for Panda all on their own. It's the 3-man gank. This should be a kill. Oh no, they got distracted by the fake clone, but it does not matter. The kill will go over to microlag. So Chisholm Chiefs, you know, again, exerting that map pressure, they're playing the side lanes, and that's where they're getting themselves right back into this game.
I mean, Nico did go to the sidelines like I kind of told her to do, but at the same time, you know, you got to be balancing that mid pressure.
Bennerokss might have stepped up a little bit too far. This is going to be a team fight. The taunt is there onto the Braum as well. It looks like icdathwp is coming from above, but he's not going to be able to help. Has to ulti to safety, and this should be another tower for the Chisholm Chiefs.
Super Mega Deathrocket just goes wide, things in between the goalposts, and both of them get away for free. I mean, like, again, like the reason why these side, like as I was about to say before, the Nico caught out because she was playing in these side lanes without having any mid lane pressure. To play a side lane effectively or push up past your vision line, you need to have pressure in these other lanes. Since you have these outer towers down, it means the blue side has control of your jungle to where your towers are because you don't have tempo advantage and they still have outer turrets up. So if you want to play these side lanes past these points, you got to be respectful of that. And you got to think about they could be anywhere in your jungle, and unless you have pressure in another lane, it's highly likely they're going to come and collect you in a 5-man just like that.
Yes, we see a bit of a reset now coming out from both these teams. Baron is up. Baron is live once again, and it is Somerset College who has the vision control, as the Chisholm Chiefs are actually securing that last Mountain Drake. That will be the last dragon before the Elder comes up. So these objectives now are very, very major, and Somerset College moving as a unit into the Chisholm Chiefs spot side jungle. They're trying to find that pick, but a beautiful bind connects the front line. The small boy, though, may have stepped a little too far, is able to get out. Somerset not fast enough on to pull that trigger.
I don't know why they're moving in here on the bot side. It makes no sense.
Oh, they might get the pick. They might get the pick. They got the pick. Panda is able to secure the kill on the Malfunction. So a little bit of a misstep from Malfunction, not recognizing that the entirety of Somerset is in that jungle. And this opens the door for a potential fight. Yep, on the backside here comes the icdathwp, but there's no follow-up damage. Yeah, you got the ult on the Kindred, good job, but there's no backup. The small boy is going to be the one who gets that kill. A huge miscommunication, but Panda's going to fast forward. Here we go, they're coming in 1 at a time, but it doesn't matter because the wombo damage is there. alphajer picks up yet another kill. That's 3 down. There's the 4th. The 5th fell as well. That is an ace for Somerset, and they should start looking at inhibitors.
I mean, Baron's up. I don't know why everyone's on the bot side. They should be playing around this Baron on the top side. Either team could have just backed off, recalled, reset, and ran straight to Baron and had tempo. But they both decided to go for a fight. Obviously, it worked out for Somerset in the end, but the smarter play was just to go for Baron there, secure it. So the fight couldn't go either way, and they will be looking to pick up an inhibitor.
These death timers are actually quite huge. They could get more. It's okay. Malfunction's up now, but it's still another 20 seconds until dorlingis comes up, and they're going to back off.
I mean, the thing they can do with this inhibitor though means they have complete and utter control over this Baron.
Yep.
The super minions are going to be crashing into this bot side, which means there's going to be a member from the Chiefs who's going to have to come and deal with that wave. And as a result, they should just recall, get the control ward, set up the vision around Baron, and look to take a 5v4 fight and force the TP to come out from Nah, back off, do the same thing again, and reset with these super minions. They're just going straight onto Baron instead.
I almost feel like they would even want to be happy taking the 5-on-5 fight once they get to that stage, just because of how these team fights are working. Yeah, there's a little bit of miscommunication when icdathwp just kind of went in on his own against microlag and fell. But for the most part, I've been more impressed out of Somerset's team fight than I have been out of the Chiefs. That said, Baron is getting quite low. DawnBreaker's quite low. Ooh, once again, DawnBreaker really, you know, if he got engaged on, he'd be in trouble, but he still has the ultimate, is able to get out safely. But, oh, that Braum, I thought he was going to be left to die, but, you know, team does help out getting the support to safety. A little bit of an air rescue there.
How do you keep getting away with this? How do they get away with that? You should not be able to get a ban straight off that fight.
Getting away with this.
But they have done it again, and I mean, I think both these teams have just been playing, like, this game's, definitely more interesting.
Good ultimate coming out there. icdathwp is able to hit dorlingis, but again, only one damage source is there from the form as alphajer, and he doesn't want to go into a 2v3 resolution, even with that good engage, so the Chiefs are going to back away.
That was a great engage, but there was just no follow-up. Everyone else was resetting. I think it was more of like a look what I can do.
Yeah.
Gary, if his ultimate's on a low cooldown now, it's going to be almost up immediately again. It's 3 ranks in that. He's got the cooldown on all his abilities, so he'll be ready to go again. I'm just waiting for the full mail to come out from this Malphite. He hasn't actually built it yet, and I think it's really essential that he gets that that was the grievous wounds put onto the Jinx, so when the Jinx just autos herself to death.
The Jinx and the Kindred.
And the Kindred, yeah. The Kindred's
not as much, but there's still two people like that. That Thorn Mail is going to be super effective against. That's completely a justified buy. I think that ultimate out of icdathwp was a zoning ult that happened to connect.
A zoning ult.
It was a zoning ult that actually happened to connect. He was trying to scare them away from alphajer, but it was like, oh, I actually hit them. Hooray!
I really like this from Somerset. They should be definitely try to push down this top side with the Baron buff. They're going to have the super pressure in the bot lane, which is eventually going to stack up. So all they have to do is play slow, potentially even move the Nico into the mid lane and start pressuring these towers.
They're going to get 2 towers very easily. Very slow on the reaction as the Chiefs. As you take a look, the small boy is actually running through the jungle to get there from the bot side. Dorlingis was smart enough to recall, and they should get there at about the same time. But with this bot pressure, I'd like to see him, if they can, get the inhibitor and then rotate to the Elder Dragon, which will be up in 1 minute.
Yeah, I mean, all they have to do now is just kind of play so wait for these supers to start stacking up on the bot side. That objective, the inhibitor is going to be respawning in about another minute or so.
Bennerokss may have been caught out. Bennerokss, I should say, not Bennerokss, Bennerokss. I think I pronounced his name 5 different
Bennerokss. Bennerokss.
It's Bennerokss. Has been cut out. I'm getting Mortal Kombat stuck in my head. Baraka.
I've never played Mortal Kombat, so I can't relate to that, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
I'm sure it's a great reference, though.
Well, not really. It's the complete opposite character of Braum. Baraka's the guy with the swords on his hands and he stabs people, and Braum is the guy with the shield who stops that from happening. So really, no connection whatsoever.
Yeah, but there and thereabouts, right?
Yeah. Video games. It's all relative.
It's a video game. It's on a screen. It's good to go. I mean, I'm very interested about this Yomu's Ghostblade coming out of the Lucian. I don't know why that fits into the build. I think, where's the Essence Spear or Spear of Shojin? Where's that?
The Spear of Shojin, I think, would actually be amazing on alphajer right now. I'm only assuming he's getting the Yomus to help with his positioning and help with his movement. In that sense, I think.
But a Ruin King, though, gives you the same movement speed, though. Like, roughly the same.
Yeah, but it's the active.
Yeah.
It makes you feel, even, it's the mental of it. And oh no, Panda got caught out. A good ultimate from macintosh flush, and down goes the Nico mid laner Somerset. They needed to slow play and not get caught. Well, guess what? They got caught as they were doing Elder Dragon. This is going to be a 5v4 fight. The Chiefs have a chance to make a massive steal right here, or at least get an advantage. Dragon is down to half. This is the fight that could very much determine the direction this late game goes. Dragon is down to a quarter. icdathwp connects on both of the damage dealers, or at least Nara and one of them. Here comes the Luxo. Not really, not damage. That my boy is running out the backside. icdathwp's on his own. The Kindred ult is forced out though. His Hacker comes a run in and a charge again. He's in the back line, but he's not going to be able to pick up any kills. It's icdathwp who falls to malfunction first as alphajer is running for his life. It is a double kill for malfunction now. alphajer skirting on that edge, trying to hold it away, but not quite enough as dorlingis is able to pick up that kill. That will be a fight going over to the Chiefs. The last one to fall is DawnBreaker, and the Chisholm Chiefs should be getting an Elder Dragon as reward.
That's really bad from Somerset. Obviously, the Nico got picked up in the mid lane. And so they need to back off that Elder Dragon the second the Nico goes down. As a result, they just got punished super hard. It was a 4v5 fight. And even though he got a really nice engagement to the carries, he didn't get the Jinx. The Jinx was able to just stand there and free fire and heal up with that Bloodthirst because the Malphite didn't have his Thorn Mails. Thorn Mails? Yeah, Thorn Mails yet.
Yep,
but anyways, like pretty much the Jinx just stood there and just ordered everybody to death. And there wasn't anything he could do because this champion is just so good when she scales in late game. Now got that GA picked up as well. She's going to be harder to take down.
I'm going to slightly disagree with you there just because of what actually happened during that. I don't think Somerset should have backed off completely, though. They should have played the kite game as effectively as possible, because as that was going on, the bot lane super minions were in the base, and they actually were able to get one Nexus tower down throughout that. So if they'd been able to delay that long enough, they could have actually gotten more out of that bot lane.
I mean, potentially, but I still think there's no way they're able to stall that out with the Jinx rocket there, the Lux poke as well. You need to just back off, play it safe, because your only win condition as the team fight with the Lucian versus the Jinx. Like, the Jinx is fully online now.
Yep.
You will never be able to out-team fight the Jinx. The only way you can do it if the Lucian gets his Elder Dragon buff, which gives him so much extra damage. Because that Elder Dragon's like roughly 4k worth of stats for about 5 minutes. Yep. The second Elder is much more powerful, but of course you have to get the first to unlock the second.
Yep.
So Somerset College either need to end the game like in between the buffs expiring, get this next Baron, or they need to look for the second Elder and start snowballing the game through that way. I mean, because this Jinx is unstoppable already.
You do say, like, you know, the first Elder isn't that strong. It's still going to be strong when you've gotten 4 dragons on your side as well. Yeah, like, there's 2 oceans, Elder, the air and the mountain. Like, that's a big Elder Dragon. And I think we definitely can both agree that Somerset, there's a couple ways they could have done it. They did it the complete wrong way.
Of course. I mean, they still have a better, like, these team fights still kind of can go their way just purely because the carries are easy to execute.
Oh my god, microlag is stepping forward and that damage is there. Down goes alphajer, and this could be the team fight that the Chiefs need to possibly end it. However, the Kindred ult's keeping everyone alive. Panda should be the next one falls. A double kill for microlag before he goes down to icdathwp. In the back line, it is that jungler. Hecarim will eventually fall over to dorlingis, who is just running wild. This Jinx cannot be touched. He is on a killing spree. And next on the target list is icdathwp, who's going to try to blast into safety. So low, but Malphite might survive. And that is another huge team fight going in the way of the Chiefs, who are now looking to Baron.
What are they doing? Just end the game. If you just push down Mickey, you can just end the game. You have enough time.
I don't
I guess they're going to play it safe, get the Baron.
They're going to play it safe. They're going to play it safe. I think they still feel nervous about that exposed inhibitor in the bot lane. It still would be a 3 versus 2, even though the damage dealers may be down. They're going to play it safe. They're going to try and slow push and end this game. This is turning into a long one. We're already 45 minutes in this game. Next team fight should end it.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great team fight by the Kindred. Obviously, seeing the Lucian misstep there definitely looked to instantly punish him. And I mean, as I was saying kind of before, like I think these team fights are very hard for the Chiefs to execute. The Jinx does now have a GA, which, I mean, generally if you get your GA popped, you kind of got to go in anyways in the Jinx, but you also have the Lamb's Respite to protect you as well. So I think it's definitely going to depend how the Jinx plays these team fights later on into these. I mean, well, how this team plays around these 2 AD carries, and I think it's going to be very hard until get this Elder Dragon buff for Somerset to come back into this game.
Something I just want to point out real quick, that this is just a complete, I'm going to have a small fan moment right now. We are roughly 45 minutes into this game, nearly dead even in gold.
Yeah.
That is how close this game has been. Both the Chiefs and Somerset College are doing an amazing job in terms of like keeping their competitive mental in check, and really, this is the competitive game that we wanted to see today, and I'm really happy that, you know, how back and forth it's been, and this could be the team fight.
We are well over double of what the game we saw last week. So
very nice. Calling is actually dropped for wave clear. Yeah. It looks like Bennerokss was looking to possibly get that engaged. Unfortunately, he's not going to find it.
No, unfortunately not for the young AD carry there, I suppose. I don't know.
Oh, this could be trouble. Bennerokss might be cut out. They don't. Chisholm does not want to fully commit. However, they do want to commit onto Panda. Microlag is just doing a good job at finding either Panda or alphajer, just chugging them out of fight before we get going, but at a huge expense to Microlag's health. So it actually looks like they're going to have to reset. Somerset getting the advantage out of that little skirmish.
Yeah, I mean, like the biggest thing here is like both these teams are, you know, I think they might be even in gold. Chisholm Chiefs are still like very, very far ahead of Somerset. They have the Jinx as well as a scaling advantage with items. They also have a gold lead because of the dragons. Each dragon's worth roughly between 1 to 2k gold worth. I mean, 1 to 1.5k gold worth of stats. So, you know, they are actually like massively far ahead when it comes to gold. As though you don't think about Ocean Drake and Cloud Drake as in combat stats, they're still good stats and they're still worth money. So overall, you know, the Chiefs still have like about a 4k lead. Plus, they have the scaling advantage with the double AD carry.
So you're saying completed builds coming out. What do you think of the James running the Ninja Tabi?
I mean, I don't know. I would have, as I said earlier, you generally go for the attack speed into the Infinite Age. The biggest thing about the builds, wasn't the actual items, the trinkets. Like, you know, the jungler on the side of, like, there's no pink wards, there's no sweepers on many of the jungle. I mean, obviously, like the support doesn't have a sweeper on the side of the Galio.
Chiefs has a pink ward in the top lane. There is a vision ward in the top lane.
No, I mean in the inventory.
Oh,
There's no pink wards. Like the jungler and the support always need to have a two pink wards on them at all times in this game. So Hecarim still doesn't even have a sweeper yet.
Well, this is interesting. I like what Somerset is doing right now. They're grouping together to get vision control over this Elder Dragon. They are completely aware that Chisholm Chiefs, if they get that Elder Dragon, it is game over because of how strong it would be for them. They might try and fight before the dragon even spawns. Here we go. Oh, Somerset kind of knows what's up.
Chiefs can just push down a lane. They don't have to worry, but they have the Baron. I don't know why they're trying to fight around this objective. Just push the lane. Yeah. All they have to do is go mid or go bottom right now and just force objectives.
Well, I think
there's nothing Somerset can do.
There is an entire Chisholm Chiefs in between them and bottom. So yeah, forcing mid could be one option, or perhaps...
No, I mean for Chiefs. Chiefs need to go mid or bottom because they're Baron off. Right?
Well, here we go. We have the fight happening right now. Nope, there's just more bit of poking as the Elder Dragon comes down. This is going to lead to the fight that determines the game.
I say like Chiefs just shouldn't be fighting. They shouldn't be looking around there because it's a 50-50 about fighting this game or going for this Baron. If they just push the waves with this, fighting around these waves or you know, looking for a team fight around the Elder, the Baron's now expired, so they don't get any more use out of that buff. And they've kind of wasted most of their time with that Baron, not getting advantage in these lanes with the extra minion aggro they get. And now Somerset are in a position they could possibly take this game back from the Chiefs. It has been Chiefs' game to win since the very first minute of the game.
That may be true, but there's also something poetic, though, about such an even game coming down to a 50-50 fight. So might not be the smartest, you know, strategic decision. However, I think from a story-wise position and for the way how this game is going, I really couldn't see it ending any other way. As we are looking at just more jockeying for position, no one wants to be that player that steps out or gets caught out. Bennerokss has been looking for that potential pick, as well as icdathwp has proven time and time again. He'll pull that trigger the second he thinks he can get a kill, whether or not the backup is there or not. Root does connect and it forces out microlag's ultimate. That is huge. That is a huge summoner gone. That is microlag being taken out of the fight, and this could open the door for an Elder Dragon for Somerset. The ultimate from Malfunction coming down as well, not really doing a lot of damage, and that is Elder begun. Can they get it down fast enough
they
before
drag
Microlag
this out
can
of the
rejoin?
pit. They're still having it in the middle pit.
Panda's low. Panda just got chunked out. Panda's very low. Panda cannot stick around.
Yeah, Panda's pretty much all their damage in these late game fights. So if he gets chunked like that, you can't get a good pop blossom off.
They're still going for that Elder Dragon. As Macintosh Plush is looking for a way in, Elder Dragon's actually going to start to reset, and doesn't look like Somerset wants to risk it. So Chisholm Chiefs actually now has advantage over the Dragon here. Dragon's low. Dragon's going to flip that. Oh, it's stolen! DawnBreaker steals the Dragon and possibly the fight. Here comes the Elder from the Panda. This is a lot of damage. It's a double kill, it appears, for the hacker. The fight is going down. icdathwp is on his own, and he will fall. There it is. alphajer also getting killed on Malfunction. However, here comes microlag. A double kill picked up by this Kindred, and he wants more. Forcing out the flash out of Bennerokss as alphajer running for slice. The Chiefs in! There it is. The Chiefs may have lost the Dragon, but they have won the fight.
They said, I don't care about you stealing our Dragon. We've got a Jinx, we've got a Kindred, we've got all the damage in the
And there is the ace. Microlag gets it done, and that should be the Chiefs ending this game.
I mean, I still don't, the minion waves aren't really in position. No one really touched the minions for about 3 minutes before they got into the game. I still think these dead times are way too long, and they should be coming through and finishing.
No, they should be finishing the game. You have Jinx, you have Kindred. That's going to be GG. The Chisholm Chiefs. They come through in a team fight that they should not have won. It was a beautiful steal by DawnBreaker, but they had it. They pulled it off.
I mean, the biggest thing from that team fight was, Somerset used their main cooldowns to actually get in and try to secure that Drake, as well as that, because the Chiefs were on the Dragon for so long and Somerset gave them a leash, they were able to have a position on it and priorities. The Nexus does finally explode and Chiefs do take the win.
GG to the Chiefs.
Yeah,
GG to the Chiefs.
Somerset themselves, they in that last team fight there, they had very bad positioning. The Lucian in particular got chunked out and got forced out of that fight quite heavily.
Yep.
And so as a result, fell down. It was only going to deal with one of the carries, while the rest of the Jinx and the Kindred just shredded through the rest of Somerset. I don't think Malphite got a decent ultimate off as well in that last team fight. Nope. And he had the Lamb's Despite actually came up at the end of that fight as well.
Yeah. So. Actually, it looked to me like icdathwp ultied into the Lamb's Despite.
Yeah.
It wasn't there. It wasn't there. DawnBreaker, I feel for him because that was such a risky steal and they pulled it off. And that momentum was just like, yeah, we got it. No, because the Chiefs are like, guess what? We have that damage.
It was pretty much just the Jinx. They didn't shut down the Jinx early enough. One of these champions who, once she gets very late game, once she gets a couple of items, and she's almost unstoppable. Once she gets one kill, especially in these fights, she gets to get excited. Passive as well means her attack speed and her movement speed up increases significantly, and it's very hard for her to deal with. But it was a very exciting game. 40 minutes in total. Unfortunately, my home school, I guess, it went down. But it was a great performance from both teams, and I'd not say mistakes, but it was a very back and forth game where both teams had very clear opportunities to win, and they just unfortunately didn't execute, which is good for both teams. There's a lot to work on from this game, and great viewing as well.
From a viewing perspective, this game was a lot of fun. From a learning perspective, I think each of these teams can go back, watch this VOD, recognize areas where it's like, if we had rotated here or gone for Baron at this moment, our game play will improve immensely. So as a learning tool as well, I believe that this will be super beneficial for them. And once again, I would like to thank both of the teams, for volunteering to be shown on the stream. I know it can be risky for high schoolers to be out there. So both Somerset and the Chisholm Chiefs, thank you so much for letting us broadcast your game.
Yeah, I mean, and these two teams, this is what sort of the caliber of gameplay we'll continue to see for the rest of this fight as we come into some of the highlight packages. This is the first Elder Dragon that Somerset unfortunately got caught out. Obviously, the Nico was taken in. They should have 100% just backed off. This Malphite TB should have needed to be expended. They should have just called for back off immediately here. They have pressure in the bot lane there. They don't need to risk for a fight here in the 4v5 when they have no cooldowns and any of that.
And there was that old man there.
I just want to keep your eyes on the Jinx in the back line. She's on the backside there. She's not really getting hit. She's just free hitting the Malphite. Simply just stands here, gets in the middle of the Lambsra fight. Stands right into the middle here and just gets a free hit these three carries and takes them all down. They can't do anything to how strong the Jinx was. Pretty much that entire fight, she just sat there, got free hitting on everybody, and then had the QSS and speed, for example, at the end too. I kind of clean up this team fight, and that was really well executed by dorlingis on the Jinx there, and just maybe a mistaken target focus there from Somerset. You need to be taking out this Jinx and this Kindred almost immediately, more so the Jinx than anything else, because that's the majority of the damage that's coming out of this team fight.
So I have to ask, just because it is that question everyone always wants to hear from the casters, who would you give the MVP award to?
I think the MVP of this game is probably the Kindred.
Microlag?
Microlag,
Yeah,
I think his pathing in the early game was so superior, and that's what gave Chiefs a huge lead just from the get-go. Yeah. If it wasn't for that initial lead, it means that they can't snowball this bot lane as effectively, able to give pressure on that lane, set the Hecarim behind so he can't get his bot lane ahead, which is where this game was really bad. It was about the Lucian Braum smashing the Jinx Galio hard enough they couldn't come back into this game. But I think the Kindred's pathing was super smart, and he made some great picks in the mid game as well to kind of win back some of these team fights.
The jungle invading was always great. He always was keeping tabs on where this Hecarim was rotating and going. Similar to what I actually saw from Chisholm in their game last week, so I'd like to see... that is a very strong trait to have out of your jungle.
Yeah, I mean, I just think you could see this Kindred was just a colossal above everybody else, and that was kind of reflected in their rank as well. You look at the final team fight as these kind of Elder Dragon comes down, but I mean, Microlag in particular, probably the only one of the biggest mistakes. I mean, he got caught out a couple of times, 7 deaths on a Kindred is kind of way too much. But I feel like he seemed like the only player who was actually able to identify what his team needed to win. And was in these positions. I think he did get a little bit overzealous, and I think he plays a little bit disrespectfully, thinking I'm Platinum 1, these guys are all gold. I don't really need to respect them and how they play the game. And I think, he should definitely focus on that in the future. But, as you can see in this team fight, the red side just completes, he gets chunked out immediately, gets zoned out, and then the Jinx and Kindred are sitting at the back here. There's no follow-up on any engage, and they'll just go down quite stiffly.
I almost feel as if when Sunhome went into that, they weren't expecting the steal. And there's oh, we got it, we should fight, as opposed to really? DawnBreaker did his job, he got the steal, let's just back out.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly.
Let's just back out, let's
reset, wait for DawnBreaker to come back up. But I feel like regardless of what happens, once they get one kill there, they can pretty much just snowball that into the end of the game. At that point, the Kindred and the Jinx are just so much more effective and so much far ahead, it's going to be very hard for them to come back into their game, and they were able to take it out. But yeah, I think the biggest thing in the game, both those teams like to play around their junglers. I think the Kindred was much more effective as a jungler today. And as a result, Chiefs took out the win, but
DawnBreaker
was a very nice game.
DawnBreaker, I still think, had a very strong game. I was a little nervous after the early game pathing, but DawnBreaker's burst was there. Obviously, mechanically, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So you don't steal Elder Dragon without having some clue of how to play the jungle. So DawnBreaker, well fought. Unfortunately, not quite enough today. And on that note, it's time for us to call it a day. I'd like to thank the University of Queensland once again for helping us bring this on, providing us with this amazing studio, with the replays as well, all of that. And also, as we said at the start of today's broadcast, it is Recall and Restore Week. So if you, for whatever reason, feel you might need some help or assistance in your life, from a mental side, or anything, or someone, or you just want to learn more about it all, please check out Riot Games and what they're doing with Recall and Restore. I think it's truly an amazing
cool. And make sure if you are feeling that way, you obviously have a great tool to utilize in Headspace, free counseling and guidance service for anyone out there. But yeah, we'd like to thank you for both these teams competing today. Very good game, long game we got today. Very back and forth, and I hope you guys all enjoyed it at home. And from us and the whole broadcast team here at UQ, we thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys back here, same time, about 4:30 p.m. Tuesday.
4:30 p.m. next week, every Tuesday for week 3. Thank you all very much. Have a good day.
Good night.